Hey, Eric.
Copy that. I'll let you know when it begins.
You do? But do you have like a break?
New York, we are on a 20-second delay. We can lower that if you want us to. New York, this is Pensacola. Would you like us to drop it down to 20 seconds to be closer to real time?
Yeah, but just the extension cord. Right, make sure it's live. Guys from the charger.
Who's that?
Did they say how late this is starting?
Just do it.
Nobody's coming.
Why would you? Because if they ask for if they ask for like an option.
Copy that. Keep the delay at 20 seconds.
Huh?
I'm a follower. You got a new puppy?
I'm one of those people.
I bet you would
Yes, you got.
ask for a live hand. He would. His all the shows and she would do it. Yeah.
110 pounds. Oh my God.
Now, you know.
Was checking who the other person was.
We have 3.
Yeah, and then there's this scientist birthday, 12:45.
Yeah, that's on base, right?
Yeah.
I assume that was
I can bet you.
we'll take photos like right on the seashore.
Right.
I did see a massive mouth. And they ran them out like your what pup?
Line up.
Right.
Can you start unmuted, talking and say starting?
It's gone.
Oh, you know that one.
Well, now it's not. Stand by.
picture of space. Picture of space.
Yeah, stop talking about it. I'm standing right
I can hear you.
In Nashville. Yeah, I know. Also, I love
Okay, where's it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's, yeah, I guess that's, yeah. That's unfortunate.
Hey, the lighting signals, they massively gone.
Hey, man, do you mind if we shoot that, man?
Do
you mind if we just get the, yeah, thank you.
You're way, that's way more important than me yapping to him about
I've got a
dogs.
small one.
Thanks.
Sit down and get out of her way. I'm just trying to get out of her way. No, I don't need to. Look at me.
I think Ed would. If any show was going to do it, it would be Ed. They haven't said that, but just because he's been with that new show, he's been trying to like break the mold a lot.
New York is Pensacola. Looks like we're getting closer. I'm sorry, a couple of officials came through. They're sitting in the back. I have all of these
Okay.
and Gates was on this week.
I see anything on presentation the ambassador.
Senator Booker also mentioned the program. It's just all the notes that today. Obviously, this is so. No, I think it's fine.
Well, the problem is we're gonna have so many folks that are gonna be standing right. Yeah.
My headphones are broken.
So I think those views are gonna, you're gonna be getting back to folks' heads. So that there's gonna be some 10 folks. Yeah, you can set up over there, because we're bringing them in over here. Yes.
Is that 2-minute warning?
Not yet. Appreciate everyone's patience. We're still a few minutes out, but we will come back and give you a 2-minute warning right beforehand.
So we should tell the 1 o'clock show.
New York, they said there would be a 2-minute warning. This is not the 2-minute warning.
So we should tell the 1 o'clock show that we're just gonna do.
Again, this is not a 2-minute warning. Not a 2-minute warning.
For elements number 1.
Yeah. Yes. Let's do that.
His face. Scene. The new pictures from yesterday.
New pictures of the deceased.
Do we have pictures of all 3?
No, but what I built was this. Silhouette.
Oh no, so no. Really? It feels creepy. Doesn't it? Is this a problem? Yeah.
No.
Roddy, I think there's a.
I mean, we can go individually if you want, or side by side. I like having it.
What'd you say?
Well, I don't know that I'm going to use that necessarily.
I just built it.
Yeah.
Can you even open these things up?
Okay, so
Who's
I
this?
think what we're going to want to tell them about is
Somebody else's.
travel.
She needs her thing.
Well, I'll just go down.
It's all right. No, we're okay. We're okay.
we'll talk about that together as travel.
I don't know that I would necessarily. I would just say get the New York video ready. Him, seeing the new pictures from inside the base yesterday.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's all right. No.
Just in case I need it.
That's these, by the way. If you want to
Thank you.
Matt,
Oh, Rick DeSantis. Do you care about Rick Scott? He was obvious. And I'm okay, so you want to stay?
Yeah. You know, I think if we can turn around a bite from here, then that'd be great. But depending on how long it takes. Not entirely. If this is ongoing, then I can take this. But, you know, this is still, yeah.
This is having one, they're not going to take you.
Right, I can take it, exactly.
Okay, I can get those points.
All right, 21 copies. Yeah, thank you.
All right, folks, we got about a 2-minute warning.
Hey guys, we have a 2-minute warning, okay?
New York, Pensacola, we have our 2 minutes.
Hey guys, I want to make sure that you're here. We have a 2-minute warning.
Let's get it.
Two minutes is a long time.
Good morning. I'm Larry Keefe. I'm the United States Attorney for the Northern District of Florida. 3 days ago, after this attack, I made a commitment to the families and to the loved ones of those who were killed and wounded in this attack. I made a commitment that all the resources of the federal government of these United States would be brought to bear and no expense would be spared, and everything would be done to bring all the resources necessary to promptly investigate this attack. I also committed to the family and loved ones of those who were killed and wounded that there would be relentless effort, that the effort would be 24/7, and I'm here today to report to you that's exactly what's occurred. We have all the resources here in place now in Pensacola, at Pensacola Naval Air Station. They are in place, and that the personnel that are there are working 24/7 shifts to do all the things that are done, investigations, to get them promptly addressed and resolved. I have here with me today Special Agent in Charge Rachel Rojas of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. She is lead on the investigation of this attack. In a few moments, she will share with you her description of what's going on and give you a status assessment of this investigation. We also have with us here today a number of other folks who are critical and key leaders of the component agencies. We have here with us to my far right, Special Agent in Charge of the FBI, Jim Jewell. Special Agent in Charge Rojas is immediately on my right. We have Dave Kemitz of ATF, who is here with us today, James Sparrow of Homeland Security Investigations, and Mr. Matthews of the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. These are the key agency head leaders that are out there working 24/7 on this investigation. I want to make one comment before Special Agent Rojas is involved here. Beyond the investigation itself about what happened and whether and to what extent other individuals or organizations were involved in the attack that occurred, we know and understand that there is concern in the community whether there's any sort of ongoing coordinated efforts or activity by anyone that create a risk or threat in this community. And I can say to you, as a lifetime member of this community, that I feel comfortable knowing all the things that I know, with all the sources that I have, which include all of the intelligence apparatus and everything of the federal government, without going into critical detail here at this moment, that I would be perfectly glad for any member of my family to be out in public, going to stores, going to restaurants, and living our lives here in the Panhandle, because I believe, knowing everything that I know, that the community is safe and there's not any sort of immediate direct threat of any additional terrorist acts at this time. At this time, I will pass things over to Special Agent in Charge Rachel Rojas.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for being patient. I know that you had saw me just 2 days ago, and I do appreciate your patience. But as I said earlier, from day one, this is our chance to get this right. And I'm going to take my time to make sure that I get the information out here as quickly as I can, but I need it to be accurate. So I am Special Agent in Charge of the Jacksonville Division, and I represent here in Pensacola. My name is Rachel Rojas again, for those I have not met. It's nice to meet you all today. Thank you again for your continued efforts to responsibly cover this tragedy and get the story right. My goal today is to convey the facts about this investigation. My goal here is to make sure that I give you the most accurate and timely information and that it's reported accurately in the media. Today we're entering our third day of investigating this horrific attack at NAS Pensacola that took the lives of 3 innocent victims and forever changed the lives of 8 others who are thankfully recovering from their injuries. Last night we confirmed that the shooter has been identified as a 21-year-old second lieutenant in the Royal Saudi Air Force who was a student, naval flight officer at Naval Aviation School's command. While there are many reports circulating regarding the shooter's motivation and his alleged activities leading to his attack, I can tell you that we are looking very hard at uncovering his motive, and I would ask for patience so we can get this right. We have received media questions about the disposition of some of the shooter's classmates. There are a number of Saudi students who were close to the shooter and continue to cooperate in this investigation. Their Saudi commanding officer has restricted them to base, and the Saudi government has pledged to fully cooperate with our investigation. I thank the Kingdom for their pledge of full and complete cooperation. We are, as we do in most active shooter investigations, work with the presumption that this was an act of terrorism. This allows us to take advantage of investigative techniques that can help us more quickly identify and then eliminate any additional potential threats to the rest of our community. As we have stated multiple times, our investigation has not led us to any information that indicates any credible threat to our community. As we speak, members of the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force and the FBI's Counterterrorism Division are working tirelessly to discern, if any, possible ideology that may have been a factor in this attack. But they are working alongside members of our criminal investigative team as well, so we are all on the same page, no matter which direction our investigation ultimately takes. So far, the FBI has dedicated 80 special agents and task force officers, and there are nearly 100 professional staff from field offices across the country to this investigation. That is in addition to the many, many resources that has been provided by the ATF, NCIS, HSI, FDLE, and numerous other state and local agencies. Today, we are here collectively focused on conducting additional interviews of witnesses, base personnel, and the shooter's friends, classmates, and other associates. Our main goal right now is to confirm whether he acted alone or was he a part of a larger network. We currently assess there was one gunman who perpetrated this attack, and no arrests have been made in this case. There have been many reports that the FBI is searching for or unable to find certain individuals. I can report that the FBI is working side by side with the U.S. Navy, and they have confirmed to us that they have 100% accountability on all international students from NAS Pensacola. This is a large investigation. We have not yet completed every interview, and we will continue to set up many more interviews over the next coming days. But this is not indicative of any danger to this community. This is an active and ongoing investigation, and we are seeking those facts, and in order to do so, we are conducting these interviews. Once again, our investigation has not led us to any information that indicates that there is any credible threat to our community. However, as always, we encourage you to keep an eye out for each other, especially after a tragedy like this one. If you see something, please say something. And if you saw something, anything, please provide that information about the shooter that you think that might be relevant in this case. There is absolutely nothing too small. Anything you have, we will take every single tip seriously, and we encourage you to come forward. We have designated representatives on our tip line, which is 1-800-CALL-FBI. And if they are available to take any information that you are willing to provide about him, where you have seen him, any of his activities, anything you may know, please share with the law enforcement community. In the next coming days, we will continue to rely upon our partnerships of multiple agencies, and only some who are here standing with us at the podium here today. But we're also going to continue to rely on you, the media, and our community. The answers we all want may not come quickly. Our experience tells us that it's better to take our time and do this right, rather than to rush and potentially come to inaccurate conclusions. We ask that if you wait for the facts and for us to run down any and all investigative leads so that we can all work together as one to bring justice to the victims, which is why we're here today, is the loss of our victims and those that have sacrificed and their heroic efforts at NAS Pensacola. That's why we're here. So that we can work together for them and now their families. So with that, we'll take some questions.
How would you describe your relationship with the local law enforcement, particularly Escambia County Sheriff's Office, who were the first ones on the scene? How critical has their information been from their first moments to where you are today?
As I mentioned in our remarks, the relationships and partnerships have been critical, and we are very grateful to Escambia County. And his heroic efforts of his deputies on that day were one of a kind. And we are very grateful for their response. And we thank him every day for that. And we are very fortunate to have wonderful partners at all levels, the local, state, and federal.
I can quickly just add one thing, and we'll come back to you. I want you to know a little bit about what's happening out there. I wanted to share with you a little bit about what's happening out there on the scene, in particular with regard to the mindset or the momentum that we developed when we came and hit the ground federally. Sheriff Morgan, Deputy Chief Deputy Simmons, what the stories that we heard about the heroics of the Escambia County Sheriff's deputies and the military security forces that engaged the shooter, and knowing all the details that we know, more will come out later. It motivated all of us, and sometimes at 3 or 4 in the morning on these 24/7 shifts. But we wanted to salute Sheriff Morgan and Deputy Chief Simmons here today for instilling the culture that resulted in those two folks at their office wading into that gunfire. It was a motivator, and it still is a motivator for us.
Can you talk about the fellow Saudi classmates of the shooter? One, our reporting shows that there was a watch party where mass shooting videos were shown. Can you confirm that that happened? And more importantly, do you believe that those students or anybody knew about this attack beforehand?
So as you know, we still have a lot of answers, just as you do out there. There are a lot of answers that I'm not prepared to answer as we continue to investigate. There are several students that are cooperating and providing information, and as we continue to vet those leads, I will provide that information as soon as I can. But I do have to have the integrity of our investigation, so I won't be answering very specifics as I go through that, and we continue to share information if I can and as soon as I can. I have numerous press officers in here to make sure that as immediately as we can get that information to you, we will be sharing it.
And a very quick follow-up, there were reports that some were taking videos. Do you believe that there was anything nefarious about any videos that were taken?
Again, as much as I would love to answer any questions about the videos or any other presumption information that's out there, my goal is not to continue the misinformation campaign. I'm here to just continue to gather facts. There's a lot of review. There's a lot of follow-up information that needs to be done. So as soon as that information has been vetted and is accurate and it can be shared, it will be.
Ma'am, can you talk about the purchase of the weapon? Ma'am, can you talk about how the suspect was able to get a hold of a weapon?
Again, the gun weapon was a .45 Glock 9mm that has been confirmed. He did purchase it legally and lawfully. The ATF has the process listed on their website. There is readily available public information for you to get that and how they can purchase a weapon lawfully. And it's not just him, but any foreign national.
Ms. Rojas, you talked about controlling the misinformation. It's a very simple question that can help clear up any misinformation. Did somebody record the shooting as it happened?
Again, there is obviously a lot of information that needs to continue to be vetted. As you know, this is a Navy base. There are several digital media. There's a lot of teams that are going on the ground. There's a lot of review that still needs to go on as to what happened that day.
But you said
and as we continue to
misinformation.
do that, we will
If
do so.
If it's misinformation, please clear it up for us.
Exactly.
Next question, please. Right here.
How many international students are there? How many are Saudi?
Has that Twitter feed been confirmed to be his?
Could you repeat that? I didn't do the first
Can
one.
you tell us when the gun was purchased and if that Twitter feed that we've heard about from the intelligence agency group, if that's been confirmed to be his?
No.
When was the gun purchased? First question.
That was the first question. No, I appreciate the question. We're not going to go into the specifics of the investigation at this time and dates on whether or not, when and how he was purchased. It was purchased lawfully. I've told you that it is a 9mm weapon, Glock 45. It was purchased lawfully, and that's the information.
Social media
If I
posts.
call on you, that's when you ask your question, please. Green and back.
Did the shooter live on base, or when did he move on to the base?
Those specifics will be shared as we continue to move further through the
Black
investigation.
over there.
Is the FBI looking at al-Shamrani's travel into and out of the United States? We've seen reports that he entered the country in 2018 and then at some point left and then re-entered in 2019 in February. Can you confirm that or tell us where he might have traveled in between?
Again, these are investigative leads. Obviously, we are going to check all travel information. We are very fortunate to have numerous agencies and partners here to help us vet all that information out. As those details become available, we will be sharing those information.
I'm sorry, can you confirm there's a Glock 9mm and can you tell us where it was purchased? What state?
Again, I'm not going to confirm the state, but it was Florida. 9mm, it was a Glock 45?
It's Model 45.
Model 45.
Model 45 9mm.
Can you talk to the level of cooperation of these other Saudi nationals that you have detained? Are they still in your custody?
Again, like I said, they're not in our custody. As I said, they're not in our custody. A lot of the individuals that were on base are cooperating with their Saudi official government, and they have been instructed to follow their commander's leads. They are on base, and they continue to assist us in answering our investigative questions.
All right, gentleman right here was not asked a question.
Can we, are you investigating this shooter's background in Saudi Arabia? Do you have agents working with the Saudi Arabian authorities on the ground there?
We are working with every single international and domestic partner to ensure that we vet every single lead as necessary.
All right, last question in the back right there.
Is it true that the Saudi government has offered to pay the victims of these families for their losses?
I'm sorry, that has not come to my attention as to what the Saudi government has paid or not paid. I have told you that the Saudi government has pledged their cooperation and their commitment, and they have done so to this date in helping us with the questions and investigative leads that we need to do with the shooter and his classmates and associates.
Can you tell us more about what they're doing to
All
help
right,
the
thank you very much.
So to be clear, you do believe he acted alone at this point? Correct. And do you think that anybody else had knowledge of this beforehand?
That's part of the investigation. A lot of the questions we haven't seen.
That was ridiculous.